What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're taking a look at Metaphor here on the Steam Deck, and it's definitely one that has improved since the demo, and I believe they've patched the demo as well. There's definitely better performance here than what we were seeing before, so I definitely want to get into that and take a look at a few different areas and see how the game's performing here on the Steam Deck. Now, also, for those of you that played the demo and have saved files here, the game should automatically pick up on that and bring the files over, but it's been failing from time to time. One of my Steam Decks, it didn't work, and some friends of mine, it didn't work either, where it didn't do this part where it fetched the data over. Now, my Windows devices worked as well, so I don't know how widespread this would be. But if you want to get this over here into the main game where I was able to move all my demo saves over, if that doesn't work for you, you're going to need to go to desktop mode. We're going to go into our Dolphin file manager here. We're going to make sure up here in our options we have show hidden files selected so that we can get to everything. And I'll show you where those save files are at so you can move them around. We're going to want to go to local, share. We're going to come over here and find Steam. We're going to go over to Steam apps and then into compat data. And once you're in here, you're going to go to a folder that should be the 3130330 that you see here. If not, you might want to do a search for the Sega folder. But check this first: PFX, Drive C, Users, Steam User, App Data, and then into Roaming and Sega. And then you're going to see Metaphor, Steam, and this big long numbered folder. We're going to go in there, and you're going to see all your save files in here. So you can copy all the save files that you want to move over. You don't need to move the cloud file or any of the other files in here. You can just highlight and copy the save file numbers, the .saves that you want to move over there. So we'll do that, and then you want to go back to the compat data folder, and then you want to go find the 2679460 here. That should be your Metaphor main game. Go into that, go into PFX, Drive C, to Users, Steam User, to App Data, Roaming, Sega, Metaphor. It's the same idea as where the demo. Steam, that big long numbered folder. Now you'll see a bunch of saves in mine because I've already been playing the game a lot for testing. I'd already moved mine and done a lot, but you'll be able to just paste your saves in here and then you'll have it in the main game as well. And then that'll get you going. So taking a look at the settings here for Metaphor, there's not a lot to go on. And if you looked at the demo, you know there's not a lot of settings to choose from. I'm going to have things on high for now, 800p and no VSync here and full screen. And we'll get into it. We'll look at some different settings here. So 800p high preset. The game definitely is running better than what it was when the demo originally came out, and it had a lot of stutter issues and stuff like that, especially out in like the desert area. That's really not there anymore. Now with no AA or anti-aliasing in this game, it can look a little rough at times. So you could up your resolution scale to say maybe 125%, but you will lose about 10 FPS. It is pretty GPU bound, so anything you do like that with resolution will take a hit. But if you're playing cap 30, you might get away with that in some areas, but not all, but it's just an idea. You could also go in and bump down those textures, turn off ambient occlusion, leave that bumped up and gain a few more of those FPS back. So from 36 back up to 42, if you don't mind bumping a couple of those things down and then having that picture quality. That's just a trade-off, something you have to decide if you want to mess with that or not. I'm going to go back to 100% though and run things on high, leaving it at the 800p full screen and just kind of see what performance is that way, but you know what you can go do to adjust that some. And this will get us back to our 45 FPS here out in this small desert area outside of the city. And again, in the demo, this area ran pretty rough and would have a lot of stutters on me and stuff like that, and going in and out of these combat scenarios would also stutter and have some issue, even though it would usually straighten out. It is much better here in the main game. I'm really happy with the performance that we see here for Metaphor on Steam Deck. I haven't had too many situations where the frame rate dropped too low or we had any bad stutters or frame time issues throughout my 5 or 6 hours now of going through the game. The city area is pretty clean as well. It gets to the lowest I've seen so far in all my time at 32 FPS right there. But in my time with these settings so far, again, only about 5 hours in, I haven't gone under 30 FPS. So those of you that would want to, cap this to 30, save some battery, have a consistent frame time. Everybody has their preference there. I prefer to leave things uncapped, but you could do that, and 30 FPS would work really well here and mitigate some of that stuff. Inside dungeon areas, I've only really played a couple of areas, but you're inside and typically performance would be a little bit better, and it basically matches what we see kind of in the desert and city area. We certainly can get higher in some places. The game has some really cool animations and stuff. There's a team up power that you can use, and they all come with a unique animation. They look great in the game. They look really good on the OLED Steam Deck. And what the other nice thing is, there's no real frame time issues or glitches or stutters. As many times as I've gone into battle and done these moves, it stayed really smooth like this, transitioning in and out, and it just makes for a better gameplay experience when you're not constantly getting like those stutters transitioning in and out of battles or with your spells and skills. So I did want to mention that it's just overall a smooth and pleasant experience here on the Steam Deck, whether I'm running some lower settings at 125% or 100% with some higher settings here. Either way, it holds together pretty well. I've done some boss battles and fights and things as well, and again, everything just stayed pretty smooth and consistent. You'll have a little hiccup from time to time, but honestly, they made some big improvements over what we were seeing when the demo first released, and I was kind of concerned about this game's performance on the Steam Deck and what it would be like. But after spending quite a few hours with it today and going through a lot of different areas and playing through it, I'm really, really happy with how it's performing here and how it's working. So definitely, if it's something that you were looking to pick up to play on the Steam Deck, I will say, even though I don't have any footage in here, I was doing all screen cap here with the capture card. It looks fantastic on the OLED, even though there's no 1610 support. So you do have the top and bottom black bars, but on the OLED, that's not as much of a big deal as maybe on the LCD. But anyways, guys, that's the performance here for Metaphor. You got a little bit of room to play, but not a lot there. And I know there's some mods out there for AA and stuff as well if you want to get into that. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for coming and check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.